We are back. Welcome in, everyone. It's time for Three Guys Before the Game. This is episode number 666. This is our... What's up?
Go ahead. I don't want to draw any more attention to it.
To what?
666.
Oh, it is? 666. I guess that would be 666. Is that a big deal?
Start over.
Is that a big deal?
Start over.
Three Guys Before the Game is brought to us by GoMart. Get a GoMart rewards card. Immediately begin saving on food and fuel. By Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans, they sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com. 666. Three Guys brought to us by Tudor's Biscuit World. Start your day the homemade way with a Tudor's Biscuit. By Comax Business Systems, keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years. And by Jan Dills, attorneys at law, they won't take no for an answer. Also, Spreads on Stats coming up, brought to us by Conley CPA Group, providing value beyond numbers.
Am I sponsored yet?
By the way, don't worry about that. We've probably screwed the numbering system up somewhere. This might be like 713.
You know what? You're right.
Yeah. So be it.
Sort of like tackles.
There is
number
a
of
very
tackles a guy had. Like,
Yeah.
13 tackles. Really had 9.
There's a very good probability that over the last 8 years, at some point, we've miscounted. So this probably actually isn't 666. Just to make, if you're stressing out about that, don't worry about it. It probably isn't.
Real quick point of clarification, because West Virginia hasn't played since the bowl game last year. So we're doing over-unders today? Preseason over-unders? Is that what we're doing?
Here's a reminder. This is the 2025 season, but it does seem, we came in the studio today, we said, like, why does it seem like it's been 2.5 years since West Virginia last played a game? I think it was probably because it was a Friday.
Yeah.
So you had that whole Saturday, and then just like it felt like a long time ago.
Yeah, played 3/4 away around the world. It's like 2 different
Just
days.
got home. And because there's college football every day, there have been like 150 games have been played since you last played.
Which is kind of nice.
Oh, yeah.
I do kind of like that.
Yeah.
So here we go. Back onto the road for the Mountaineers coming off of this off week. These guys oftentimes talk about situational advantages. And again, you're just kind of poking around trying to. The fact that the UCFers are playing their 5th straight game, at least it's not going to hurt you that you've had the bye week, right?
No, it's going to help you.
You hope.
No,
you hope.
Well,
on paper, it should help. That is a situational advantage. You would prefer it to be at home because generally you don't get situational advantages on the road. But I do agree, Tony. You're off a bye. They are not. They've played 5 games in a row, as you mentioned. They've lost 3 in a row. So this will be about as good a spot as you can get if you're West Virginia. Go take your swing, see if it helps you.
Obvious
why
observations.
Why are you grimacing?
I'm not.
That?
No, I just. Well,
why do you have a tie on?
I had to do something this morning.
Okay.
I had another assignment this morning.
You're the busiest retired guy I've ever seen in the world. Isn't he, Brad?
Facts.
Yeah, you're on 7 different boards now. I think you're the mayor at a couple of different West Virginia cities. I mean, it's quite amazing.
This is a highlight of my day, though.
Well, thank you. It's the same with us.
Yeah.
Same with us. Okay,
True.
Time now, ladies and gentlemen, for the unsponsorable Hoppy's obvious observations. Obviously, what do you have?
This is the Doppelganger Bowl. You know, look-alike, right? One team has a coach in his first year who previously coached there. The other team has a first-year head coach, Brad, who previously coached there.
Agree.
Neither team has a conference win. There have been, between these two teams, there have been like 9 quarterbacks that have been played, that have played. You don't know which quarterback is starting for either team or which quarterbacks are going to play. Should I go on? Each team, if you listen to coaches' press conference, they talk about, boy, we just are making mistakes, too many mistakes, can't make plays. So there are, and Brad, I know you'll get into specifics to point out there are distinct differences, but there are similarities situationally. Now, let me go into the situation. I like this situation a lot, Tony, as you pointed out. Week off, they've played 5 games in a row, coming off a loss to Cincinnati where they did not score a touchdown to the last 2 minutes of the game. So even though they move the ball up and down the field, they didn't score a touchdown until late. I don't mind the road trip because it's, Central Florida. I'm sorry, UCF, it's Orlando. And it's not that big of a trip. West Virginia fans are going to be there. And sometimes it's good to get away from home. Sometimes it's just good, and focused entirely on the game. Okay?
Last time West Virginia was there, good West Virginia, that's 2 years ago, good West Virginia contingent of crowds.
Yeah.
There's no question about it.
So I think situationally, and I know you're 7.5 dog there, but I like the situation a lot. I've built myself in the 2 weeks into a childlike optimism for this game. And Rich Rodriguez said something interesting in his press conference right at the end. He said, this is a chance for a fresh start. Now, one of two things. Either the team is like, okay, they're not bought in, or it is, in fact, a fresh start. Henry Ford said...
The car guy?
Car guy said, failure is the opportunity to begin again more intelligently. Now think about that.
That's a
Because,
good one
Brad,
there.
what do they...
Pretty appropriate.
ChatGPT that? So how'd you get that quote?
Google. But, Brad, think about what Zach Alley said, talking about just correcting mistakes, getting eyes in the right places, okay? Trying to get 11 guys doing the right thing. So it's a chance. It is, in fact, a chance to do better. So I think you can find a lot of reasons to be optimistic going into this game.
I also think, if I may interject.
Of course.
It's also a chance to do less.
Okay.
Coach Rodriguez, during his talk show this week, and he also mentioned this during his press conference on Tuesday, that I think defensively, once again, they've been suffering through some paralysis by analysis.
Mm-hmm.
So dumb it down and let guys just have a simple script. Okay, this is what we're doing. Just keep doing that. A little bit of that as well, so you don't. I mean, we've had some big blown assignments, and so let's get guys at least in the right spot and then play.
Yeah, be in the right spot. Do what you're coached to do. Stop peeking if you're a defensive back, stop peeking in the backfield. And Zach Alley talked about that. And if you listen to Frost, Brad, they got like 70 new players. They're making mistakes all over the place.
They do.
They got all kinds of issues. A lot of penalties, missed passes, guys in the wrong spot. They're dealing with some of the same issues, like a first-year head coach with a lot of new players. Zach Alley's worried about UCF's team speed. Brad, I know you'll get into that. UCF's quarterback situation, we'll get into that. Fancher played the last game, ran the ball 20 times. 20 times in that game. It's almost like he's Khalil Wilkins running the ball so much. So they got, quarterback situations. They got a good running back, Miles Montgomery. Their defense is a concern for West Virginia. Brad, I know you'll talk about that. They rank 5th in the league, giving up just 18 points a game by comparison. West Virginia's giving up 29 points a game. So that would be a good on bad. They have a good defense, a fast defense. West Virginia is struggling offensively, so that might be their good on our bad. So, but still, obvious observations, doppelganger situation, but you can find some reasons for optimism.
Did everything he say kind of congeal with what you're thinking, obviously?
Yeah, I'm off to a bad start in this show. I should have known better. My opening statement was too obvious. He just took it. I should have known better. I should have known that's where we were going to go. I think you're exactly right. That is what jumps out to me, the similarities where these two programs are. Add in there, guys, both are in badly need a win, right? They're both. They also are known when these two programs under these coaches had it going, both known for fast tempo and just speed by the different players, right? That was part of this group as well. So yeah, Hop, I'm with you. It's almost like that meme. You see the two Spider-Mans pointing at each other with these two programs, where they are in their situations, and it's which one of these can come out on top.
And think about this. This game is on no one's national radar, right? No one cares about this game, but it is hugely important to these two teams.
Yeah, because you're right, because both are looking down the schedule of this Big 12 and saying, all right, where do the wins come from?
Right.
And that's why I think both these squads are pointing to each other across the field, and each should feel like this is their opportunity to get a win. The line did surprise me. I had in the summer, if all things were being equal, West Virginia might have gone in as a slight favorite in this one of the few they were going to be favored in all year. To come in as more than a touchdown underdog was a little bit concerning. But I see where you got that way based on the numbers, but that was a little bit surprising when that opened.
Yeah, totally in with you on the fact that this game does not move the national radar meter at all. However, as we both know, both of these programs are in similar situations of trying to become, resurgent from where they were to where they want to go.
And both have had success.
Yeah. So while this won't move it nationally, internally, both of these programs are going to really get a good definition as to where they are, right? Mm-hmm. The team that wins kind of comes away and says, you know what? We're on the uptick. The team that loses looks at it and goes like, man, we got a ton that we still have to get done here. And so it's very, very, very interesting, very intriguing game to me.
Both searching for offensive identities. What is it that they can do well? And I think that's one of the intriguing parts. If you're looking for something for this back half of the season for West Virginia, I think now it's certainly about still trying to win games, but it's also about finding out who's going to be around next year, who performs well enough for this coaching staff to go, you know what? You know who showed a little bit there, not just in an effort, but some skill-wise, and I think that starts for West Virginia guys at the quarterback position.
Absolutely.
You're going to see Wilkins, you're going to see Fox. What do those guys look like over the final 6 games as they get more reps, both in practice and in game situations? So that goes for the whole team, but in particular, I think we're watching the quarterbacks pretty closely too.
And both of those guys, right, it's back-to-back road games. So that never hurts you as well. But let's face it, just stadium size-wise, it will not be as daunting inside the bounce house as it was at BYU, which, again, my recency bias. But, I mean, that was off the chart good, electricity. So you should be more comfortable if you're Scotty Fox or if you're Khalil Wilkins at this point. You've had 2 weeks, literally, to watch that tape to make yourself better. So to me, that's also another big thing that makes it intriguing. How much better can you get after watching yourself perform? And it's there. I mean, I think those guys all have the ability to, make plays and to move this offense. But at this point, this offense just has not moved. When it happens, I think we're all going to take a collective deep breath and go, oh, okay, finally, right? What we're known for as a Rich Rodriguez offense, you haven't seen it yet. I mean, it's shown these in 6 games, there have been these very small little flashes of what it will look like once it gets going. To me, this offense has kind of been like a car, and you're in neutral, and you keep hitting the gas, and the engine revs up, and you go like, but when's it going to move, right? You see it, you understand the concept of it, but until it goes, start like a rhythm, a boom, boom, and a quick out. Ball 6 yards. Guy runs for 4 yards. Move the chains. Another first down. That's when this thing goes. And it hasn't happened yet.
But it's been hard to get that continuity because as the car's going down the road, all of a sudden the driver, the quarterback, jumps out and the car's rolling towards the cliff, guys. So the next driver has to run and jump in and then quick jerk the wheel so it doesn't go off the road, right? So he's just trying to keep the thing on the road. Well, he's on the wrong side of the road. Cars are coming out. You're just trying to avoid the crash. And then all of a sudden he jumps out and another guy has to jump in and navigate the next cliff.
And every guy that gets in the car, after a while, he goes, I'm not driving anymore. And I'm not driving anymore. There goes Nico. I'm not driving anymore. There goes Jalen Henderson. I'm not driving anymore. There goes Jaheim White. I'm not driving anymore. That goes Jaden Bray, right? You just build this list. This list is, you're going to have injuries in football. It's just not a matter of if, it's just when, and then the other one is who. Okay. If you would take, and I say to you, okay, what's a worst-case scenario back in August? What's the worst-case scenario as far as injuries go? I'd go like Nico Markale, Jalen Henderson, Jaheim White, and Jaden Bray. I'd go like, you can't lose those guys. You just can't lose those guys, and yet that has happened.
And add Ty Edwards into that. I mean, I don't think I'll say it anymore because for how many weeks now have I been going, well, hope Ty Edwards is healthy this week. Looks so good against Pitt. Hope to have him back. This week you learn he's down seeing a specialist in Alabama. So that doesn't sound good in the short term nor the long term. So you've got to move on that. And again, guys, I think we've moved right past. Remember Knighton, the transfer from SMU at running back, was supposed to be in there to split carries with Jaheim White. He never even saw the field. I feel like that's a bigger story than what we've made it because you never saw him. Right. And White started off okay, so you just kind of moved past him. But you're down to running back number 4 as well. So QB 4 and running back 4 on a team that was trying to find its way with QB 1 and running back 1. Yeah, no wonder it looks so disjointed right now.
Right now, you're going into this game, and Tyler Jacklich is really your number 4 running back at this point. He joined the team in the middle of August practices. And he is the big back now. Like when they need a big back situation on Saturday, he'll be the guy that they run in there. That's how tenuous this has become.
Yeah, it's wild. So I don't think that's a surprise. That's why I think you're just looking now at this point. There's one, at least for our perspective. I get that Rich and the coaching staff isn't thinking this way at all, Hoppy. They're trying to win on Saturday. Sure. I understand that. But for the rest of us, as you're trying to look for next season to get a head start, or just from a roster management standpoint, what's this thing going to look like? Are you back to 82 new guys again next year? Can you get the number down to 60? Are you at 50? Where exactly are you? to, I think becomes just a critical point or question as we move through the final 6 games.
Yeah, and you mentioned quarterback. You got to figure that this is almost like spring practice in some respects. You think, okay, we're not going to – which one of these guys will stay, and do we want to stay for next year? You got to start – I'm sure they're thinking about that too as this process goes on.
Yes, but go down the position groups. I think that's every position group is open for that discussion. Offensive line is a massive question mark. Again, I'll keep asking the question we've asked. Are some of these guys that you're not seeing starting, are they going to be at a position where they come back next year and we see enough and the coaches see enough over the next 6 weeks that you say next year, okay, you've got 3 guys that you feel pretty good about starting. Now go out and find 2 additional big name starters to plug in there? Or do you have to scrap the whole thing and you're out trying to find 12 offensive linemen next year? I think those questions are all first and foremost as you move throughout the season here.
But at the same time, because I'm still trying to retain my uncharacteristic optimistic view, is that with that week off and with the fact that UCF has played 5 games in a row and they're unsettled, you still have to look at this and go, you at least like your chances here, correct?
Yes.
I didn't like chances against BYU. I didn't like chances against Utah. But you look at this and go, okay, all right, let's
take a swing.
Take a swing at this. We got a shot here.
Yeah.
I think more than a shot. I think you have an opportunity to, as Rich said, to reset, to get a fresh start here.
3 Guys Before the Game is brought to us by Jan Dills, attorneys at law, based here in the state of West Virginia, but servicing clients in all 50 of our states. They specialize in a couple of different areas, one of those being veterans benefits, the other being Social Security claims. That is not an area where you want to go in by yourself. You need someone that does it every single day, dealing with those folks, and they would love to be on that journey with you right from the very beginning. So if you or someone that you know is looking for help when it comes to military benefits and Social Security claims, contact Jan Dills, attorneys at law. It doesn't cost you a single shekel unless they make money for you. So try it out. 3 Guys Before the Game is also brought to us by Tudor's Biscuit World, 70 locations. Last episode, we had that F1 car that had the Tudor on it. We do think that was a Tudor's Biscuit F1 car. A lot of people didn't know that they got into that or not. But
that's definitely unconfirmed.
Yeah, it is. So this is what we do know. They do have 3 new sauces that they'd love for you to try when you go into a Tudor's, going from the honey sriracha, the Carolina Gold, the sweet teriyaki, and, of course, the original still is there this weekend or whenever. Stop by. Tudor's Biscuit World. Start your day the homemade way with a Tudor's biscuit. All right, are we set and ready for spreads on stats?
Sure, I want to hear this.
Let's dive in.
Did you have any moments in cultivating this data where you went like, Did you have any?
Yeah, a couple.
Couple? Good or bad?
No, I think to Hoppy's point, if you're going to have some optimism for a team that's struggling, this would there's a couple.
Just go right to the numbers. Here comes the heater.
All right.
Let's jump into the analytics portion of the show.
Spreads on Stats is presented to us by the good folks at Conley CPA Group. 40 years in business, based right here in the state of West Virginia, and they do so much more than just the accounting stuff. They're a full-service accounting firm, which means they'll say, here, give me your hand. Give me your hand. Take your hand, and they'll walk with you down that business world and say, you don't want to do that. You want to do this. Yeah. We'll guide you so that it's the most efficient way for you to spend your dollars and save your dollars when it comes to, tax liabilities, Hoppy.
It's important.
Legally done in tax liabilities. We had a situation there at our recent event when we hosted that United Way event over at Touchdown Terrace. A couple CPAs, I don't know, they may have been taken aback a little bit by what I said during the auction. You shut your microphone off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why do you always do that to me? Rich talked this week that he is not a very patient person. That was you.
Think?
That was you during that segment running the auction. You were running tempo, had no patience. The poor accountants were trying to give a good professional answer, and you just bull rushed them.
You said, can you write that off? Write it off.
I think I sided with the accountants on that.
All I said was when the numbers were getting high, I just looked over at the CPA table and I said, this is tax deductible, right? And they pause moded. They like the replay officials at a Big 12 game. They had to walk down to the other end, get the hood over their head. Just like, is it deductible?
Corey wanted to get it right.
Your volume was times 10 and you gave rapid. Is that right? Is that right?
Too aggressive.
Too aggressive.
These officials, it's hard to make a split decision on some of these things, Tony. The game happens fast.
Yeah, I know.
Tax changes happen fast.
No, I get it. Anyway, I had an idea, by the way.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
I did.
Here we go.
We're going to play basketball in Charleston in December.
Which one, South Carolina or?
Wake Forest.
Okay, West Virginia.
Charleston, West Virginia.
Yeah.
State's capital city.
Sure.
So that's a Saturday.
It is.
Normally when we played basketball in Charleston for years, it's always middle of the week. Very rare do we have, right?
True. A lot of Tuesday games mixed in.
A lot of Tuesdays, right? So when we go to play Wake Forest, it's first Saturday of December.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be there Friday night.
Yeah.
Why don't we do a little something Friday night?
Have you talked to anybody about this? Is
No,
this
I'm
the
just
first
letting
time
you-
you're mentioning this?
I'm just
Is
telling.
this?
Yes, it's the first time he's mentioned it. That's actually not bad. Like, I won't jump you on that. That's not bad.
We should do something.
Here's what I would suggest. Stop now. just leave it right there before you just throw out a random place and a ticket cost and all. Just leave it right there, and we'll go to work on it.
Get in touch with homeless.
Which means he's not going to stop Kirchville, but that's fine. I'm in on that.
You know what we'd have
We'll
to do?
be there.
You know what we would have to do for food? Our boy.
Who?
He's already done one of our events when we were down in Greenbrier County.
Oh, Chef Paul?
Chef Paul.
Well, that's his home base.
He's got a restaurant or two down there.
Now
I
you're
said
getting.
stop. It's a fine
not a bad idea, but
let us flesh out the idea in someplace other than live on the podcast.
We should do
This
that.
is live.
I'm saying we should do it. Anyway, we got time. See, now you always get on me for doing things too short notice. We got time. November. It's 6 weeks. Let's make that happen. Come on, team. Let's go. All right, what spreads on stats, guy?
Threw me off, Kirchville. Now I got to worry about helping Dave with an event. Trying to do stats.
Just saying.
Let's do this let's do a couple of keys to the game that include some stats. Then we'll just go to some random numbers throughout that might mean something. Kirchville, you open for that?
Absolutely. Let's go.
Here's a big key. Big key. This
Okay.
could have fallen under your obvious observations, though, Hop.
All right.
West Virginia's rush offense against UCF's rush defense. If you look at West Virginia's numbers, some of these raw counting stats look okay. Put it that way. Almost 5 yards per carry. Good, you'll take that, right? Suggests the rushing game is pretty efficient when you get it going. My worry is a lot of those have come late when a game's decided, but let's just leave that to the side for a second. UCF's defense has to show it can stop the run. And I think this is when you talk about, if you just look at West Virginia's offense versus UCF's defensive numbers, it's a big advantage number-wise on paper to UCF's defense. But if you dive within that, it's UCF's pass defense that's really driving their numbers. Their rush defense is struggling. 114th nationally in EPA per rush. So, can West Virginia finally get its running game on track to a point, like you said, where it looks like you think a Rich Rodriguez offense is supposed to look? So that's first and foremost what you always watch with West Virginia is, can they have success running it? But going against a defense in Cincinnati that the numbers say have struggled against the run, can that be a positive for West Virginia? Continue on. What's West Virginia's defense look like this week? It's getting what's been a pretty balanced UCF offense that has some speed, right? No surprise there. They'll put some guys and try and get those guys in space, Hoppy. We've seen West Virginia really struggle with explosive plays since it got into Big 12 play. And that's a concern because that's kind of what UCF has been doing. I'll get to some of these explosive play numbers for them coming up here in a minute, but I'm watching that first and foremost because you mentioned it, Scott Frost talking about the mistakes they've been making. Last week was a great example. They kept the ball for 2/3 of the game against Cincinnati. They ran 90 offensive plays. They did go up and down, Hop, as you said, but they couldn't finish drives. They're struggling in the finishing drives category. Less than 1/3 of their drives have ended in touchdowns this year, and a lot of that's self-inflicted. They're getting down in the scoring zone, and then they end up committing a penalty or two, and it backs them up. So it's one of those things, Hop, we say this all the time every year. whichever team makes more explosive plays is probably your winner. Both of these offenses have had trouble sustaining and then scoring at the end of drives. West Virginia's been efficient scoring, but hasn't been able to sustain long drives. Who can hit some big plays so you don't have to string together 10, 12, 14 play drives when what happens usually, most teams, when they have to do that over and over, what happens?
Turn the ball over, make a mistake, penalty.
Mistakes come in, especially to teams that are struggling. So, again, I'll get to some of the explosives from a UCF perspective in a minute, but I'm watching that is, can West Virginia's defense limit some of these explosives against a UCF team that has been pretty balanced so far in the year? Then, and again, these are cliche keys, I get it, but I think they really matter in this game. Third downs are going to be ultra important, and that goes back to, can you sustain any drives? West Virginia is near the bottom of FBS, 126 out of 136 when it comes to third and fourth down success rate. It's going against a UCF defense that on paper has been really good, 36th nationally in that same category. So which one of those plays off? Can West Virginia keep those sticks moving, which it has struggled to do in Big 12 play? Flip over to the other side. UCF's offense is struggling also on third down success, going against a defense that's 65th nationally. That UCF offense is 94th in third down success. UCF's offense is 100th nationally in third down distance to go, 7.5 yards. So if West Virginia can keep that offense in third and long, you feel pretty good about that.
You know what they do, Brad? What did they do last week, though, when they were in third and long? What did Fancher do?
Took off.
Yeah.
Now, here's something else to look at, and we say this every year. We're halfway through the season, but the numbers are still trying to mature. One of them that jumps to you is the Sagarin strength of schedule rating so far. UCF's played the 110th most difficult schedule according to that metric, West Virginia 14th. And I say that a lot this time of year. Does that start to show up for two teams that are finding their way? Does West Virginia's benefit of playing a difficult schedule so far, especially in Big 12 play, start to work in its favor on this? We'll have to see. Talk about explosive plays here for a second. UCF is 17th nationally in plays of 40 or more yards, 5th nationally in plays of 60 or more yards, and only 3 teams have more plays of 70 yards or more. So can you, and that's a small sample size. It's not like they've had 20 of those, but can you keep them from making those big plays on you? Keep that speed a little bit under control. Quarterback for them, you guys mentioned this, much like West Virginia. Who starts for them? Cam Fancher's raw stats were pretty good against Cincinnati. Probably did enough, Hoppy, to help them get the win. They just couldn't close the deal. Threw for 222 yards, ran for another 108, ran for a touchdown to give UCF's quarterback 6 rushing touchdowns this year. So regardless of who's in there, they're going to want to run the quarterback. Here's the thing with Fancher, though. Let's watch this if it's him that gets the start. Threw for 222, which yardage-wise is a decent number. You'll take that all day long. But only 4.5 yards per attempt. So he was not pushing the ball down the field. That was a lot of underneath stuff, trying to move it down but not give up the big explosive play, and then making Fancher take off and run it. Cincinnati bottled up Miles Montgomery, who I think is a really good running back, but UCF just did not have success on the ground outside of Fancher, and a lot of that, if you listen to their folks, similar to what we talk about. Their offensive line is still trying to find its way. They don't feel that the offensive line is road grading like they would want in the running game, so they feel they haven't run the ball really well. They feel like they've thrown it better, but at least with Fancher, they certainly weren't looking to throw the ball down the field last week.
But Brad, didn't you see in that Cincinnati game a lot of underneath passes, but I know you're going to get to those wideouts, pretty good wideouts, get the ball to guys in space, right?
Yeah, that's
See
what
if they can make a play.
Correct. That's what they're trying to do, but I think if you're West Virginia's defense, given what I just said, it's a good approach by Cincinnati. Keep that stuff in front of you. 4.5 yards per attempt, guys, would be near the bottom nationally at that number. If that's the number against West Virginia, I like your chances because, again, what are you banking on? That UCF commits a penalty or two and backs themselves up, and that's exactly what happened. So if it's Fancher and he takes off and runs a little bit, but you bottle Montgomery, and if they want to throw it 49 times again, but everything's in front of you, okay, so be it. I think you take your chances with those numbers. Here's another number to back that up about UCF using a lot of the field but not being able to finish. They come into this game 132nd nationally. So only a few teams worse in starting offensive field position. Can West Virginia hold that number? and keep them having to go long fields with a bunch of plays. Again, you like your chance if you do it. Now flip over to the other side. This UCF defense on paper has looked very good. Held its first 5 opponents scoreless in the first quarter, so they've been off to a good start. But here's where that schedule strength matters. Are these numbers inflated against an early season schedule that included Jacksonville State, North Carolina A&T, and a North Carolina program that's an absolute disaster mess right now and can't figure itself out?
The answer is yes, because
Go ahead.
Because when they played somebody good, Cincinnati scored 2 touchdowns in the first quarter, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean. So if you start to look, and if you just want to go into just take PFF, if you want to look at their grades on the defensive categories, I think a lot of this was inflated by that early schedule. So really good numbers. I can go right down the list. 40th nationally in havoc rate. I mean, every number looks really good except their run defense, Hop. But you just wonder how much of that should be schedule adjusted for racking it up against some early teams. So you start to look down this group and you look at them and say, will the numbers match up what you see on the field here? Because I think West Virginia has some advantages even with some of their gaudy defensive statistics. Now, can that actually come through and come to fruition?
Very good. Good report.
That's very well done.
Yeah.
One last thing.
Sure.
Betting line, we mentioned this. Open 7.5 in favor of UCF.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? It's the 5th time in 7 games this season West Virginia's been a touchdown or more underdog. 1-3 straight up in those games, 2-2 against the spread. So you won against Pitt, you covered against Pitt and BYU. It was a late cover, but you covered.
Hasn't moved either. Right?
Yeah.
Holding at 7.5.
So there you go. There's the numbers.
That was good. It was interesting.
He did well, didn't he, Hop?
He did real well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, why don't you take a deep breath right now and get yourself something to drink? Oh, really? Would you like to use the I-12 water cooler from Comax Business Systems? Why not? Isn't it about time we put one of those like right back there?
I was just going to say, do we have one of those?
I mean, we should. Comax Business Systems, they're all in on keeping folks that work at your business place hydrated. But they don't want you to do it the old-fashioned way of lugging around those big plastic jugs. Not at all. Put yourself a water machine in. They've got those I-12 water coolers, hot water, cold water, filtered water, ice, you name it. They've got it. Visit Comax, KOMAXWV.com. That's ComaxWV.com. They're all over the state. So you just give them a ring. They'll come get you, show you what they have.
We should be like the Rat Pack in Las Vegas. You know, they had a bar on stage. We should have a water thing. Just get up and wander over and get some water and come back.
Did they have a bar on stage?
Yeah.
I didn't know
Very
that.
famously, yeah.
Yeah. Joey Bishop, always the outlier, I think, in the Rat Pack. Wasn't he? It's kind
of weird.
of a weird thing.
Yeah, but he was there.
Yeah, Joey Bishop. Good to see that. 3 guys also brought to us.
Joey Bishop reference. Well, I brought up Rat Pack, so it's my fault, but you mentioned Joey Bishop.
Yeah, 3 guys also brought to us by our good folks at Lou Wendell Marine Sales. You know, a lot of water in the state of Florida. They're right around. Yeah, it's surrounded, right?
Yeah.
And all of the boats. If you're going to the game on Saturday, any boat that you see will probably a very big chance. There it is. Look, those are boats from Lou Wendell Marine Sales that are getting ready to make the trip down to Florida for the game.
You back out, head under the bridge, and it won't be much further, and you're sitting outside that stadium.
Yeah, basically that's what it is. Those are a look at some of the pontoons. The Avalon pontoon boats manufactured 100% in the United States, so it's boating season time to service and get it out of the water right now. If your boat needs service, visit ComaxWV. No, it's not. Don't visit Comax if you want your boat things.
But not for your boat.
Sure. Lou Wendell Marine Sales.com. That's Lou Wendell Marine Sales.com. Sales, brand new stuff. I think this time of year you go in there looking for a little deal. Probably give you a little deal as the season's coming to an end. Or service for whatever it is you need. Over 40 years they've been in the business. Family run, family operated. Visit Lou Wendell Marine Sales.com. Tell them Hoppy sent you.
That's going to help.
Yeah, tell them Hoppy sent you. Basketball schedule times finally came.
Yeah. Kind of some weirdness.
Excuse me?
Non-traditional. I shouldn't say weirdness, just non-traditional.
In what category?
Well, just a bunch. 6 o'clock weeknight start against Pitt for the backyard brawl. That's unusual.
That is.
It's okay that it's Pitt because I think you'll still be packed in there. But the weird 6 o'clock weeknight, I can't remember many of those.
Is that for TV? What is that for?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. You know what's really weird?
Yeah.
When league play starts, there's only one ESPN Plus game the whole season.
There we
11
go.
of 20 conference games last year were on ESPN Plus.
11.
11 of 20. This year, 1.
And why is that?
New networks.
Okay.
New network involvement.
Peacock's
Fox,
involved,
Peacock,
Fox is involved,
Fox.
which means FS1 also, CBS Sports Network.
Yeah, more places to for the inventory, as they say.
That'll cut down on the foul language across the state at game time. People trying to.
Well, you just got to remember what network. So listen, it's probably going to be really hard to find what TV network it's on. So I'd encourage you just tune the radio on.
Well, have the radio on. I usually have.
Radio's going to be in the same place.
The video on, and listen to you guys.
Yeah,
thank you.
It's my plan.
Talking to a
and
guy.
go to a couple games.
Talking to a
no
guy.
9 o'clock home games.
No?
Good.
Got a couple 8:30s mixed in there.
Talked to a guy in Stillwater, Oklahoma recently.
Excuse me?
Super Bowl Sunday games at 1 p.m. People like that.
Yeah,
come enjoy the Red Raiders here in Morgantown. Get home, watch Super Bowl if you want.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Kansas did catch a break.
Kansas
caught a break.
How so?
Saturday home game for West Virginia. Kansas coming in. They get the game at noon.
Oh, do they?
Now, it's Kansas. I would think it'll still be a raucous environment. It'll still be loud.
Yes.
But Kansas caught a break there. That wasn't lined up at
nighttime.
5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock night.
Yeah. I was talking to this guy in Stillwater, Oklahoma. He's designing a new radio that will have the delay on it. There's been some that are out there. Some people have bought them through the years, but now they've stopped making them. It's been difficult. So this guy's created one that'll give you a delay on regular radio, regular terrestrial radio signal, and also has internet capability, so you could get an audio stream off of an internet source and delay it as well. But it won't be out till like next football season. But it's pretty encouraging, so you can listen.
I kind of like it. Throws my wife in a tizzy, but I like it when you're a play ahead.
Ooh, I don't like that.
So that I know what to watch for.
I can't do that.
Just sync it up.
I can't. I don't.
Well, no, I watch for, like you say,
Yeah.
Cleo back to pass, throws it downfield. Like, oh, okay, I'll watch, see what happens.
Yeah, that's what.
I'm okay. Look. I'm watching. I'm listening to you. I love the comments you and Dwight and Jed make. Then I want to
see it.
I want to see it.
But you don't want them both at the same time.
No, I don't. It doesn't have to be synced up for me.
Okay, that's fine. Let's do some textual healing.
That's a surprise, actually.
Textual Healing is brought to us by episode800.com. That's our website, episode800.com. Everything that we have, everything that we own, our worldly possessions are all available to you right there. Apparel, coffee from Mountaineer Roasting, popcorn from Mountaineer Popcorn, and the truck tire selection has just increased tremendously.
No, there's no truck
tractor trailer tires.
We're not too far away from the holiday season when that popcorn becomes a great gift, right? To friends, family members.
It's nice to get at the holidays.
It's addictive.
You're a manager, boss, owner of a company. You want to give something nice to your employees.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice corporate gifts, as they say.
Our good friend Jeff sent us a box. We opened the box before the show started, and he writes, "Please enjoy some chocolate and peanut butter goodness. These are Buckeyes. Peanut butter to chocolate ratio is, insert throat cluck, real good. Seriously, as a lifelong Mountaineer fan now living in Columbus, you three guys provide a sense of normalcy to home and me.
Rarely hear that.
I appreciate you and all that you guys do. Keep it up. Be well. Enjoy the Anthony Thomas Buckeyes, and let's go Mountaineers." Your friend Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff. Very kind of you.
Did you mean to say Buckeyes in Musburger voice?
Yes.
Oh.
Buckeyes. Those are really good. I had one before the show started. Very tasty. All right, here we go. These are we run a good wide swatch of thoughts here. Curtis in Portland writes in, "I really hope that you skip from episode number 665 to 667. Whoops. I would be curious for Brad to get the data around our increased defensive turnover rate. Is there a stat that reflects a ratio of the amount of turnovers to the number of plays played? I'm curious if our defense has truly improved in that aspect, or is it just they're on the field a lot more due to poor offense? So much time on the field means more plays, which means more opportunities for a turnover."
Brad?
Interestingly, I actually saw this before we went on the air and did some quick numbers.
Oh, good.
So I think I've got this, but bear with me if not, because
Sure.
I was trying to do it fast because I do not see these beforehand.
Okay.
Interestingly, West Virginia almost dead on pace defensively to face the same number of plays as it did last year.
Really?
If it projects out, it's almost half what it was last year, just slightly over that. West Virginia has been good at takeaways this season. In fact, they're 29th nationally with 10 takeaways in the first 6 games. The problem in turnover margin has been you've been giving too many back.
And haven't been able to capitalize in other instances when you got the turnover.
Correct.
Right.
To answer Curtis's question specifically, you are ahead of pace. You've almost doubled your turnover rate this season versus last season, about 2.3% versus 1.3% last year.
Wow. We actually...
Now, that's a rare answer on the fly of a text question.
Yeah, with a fact.
Well, that won't
That's
happen.
very unusual. We used a fact on answering the question. Dear Scope, Senator, and Hoppy Cubed, I'm yet another long time listener. Can't thank y'all enough for the years of enjoyment and entertainment so needed for lifetime Mountaineer fans. Question, given the new funds available, do you think that Rich will be able to retain his useful talent from this year's team and or recruit top talent for next year? Will our mediocre record this season handicap our recruiting next year? Signed by J.D. Anderson, Frederick, Maryland.
Yeah, I would just say what I think I said on the previous show is that, and this is all kind of nebulous out there, that they did not spend all their football money. There's, I think, about 4 or 5 million maybe that they didn't spend that they can spend next year for next season, but probably before July 1st, along with the 13, 14 million that football is going to have. So you should be, Brad, well-funded going into next year.
I'm going to take the optimistic approach on this, guys, and we've seen this before with Rich. We've seen it look not ideal in year one, and then it turned around fairly quickly. So I'm going to, and listen, I know there's factors between now and his first time here that make things a little bit different, but just take the basic premise. And I think this, guys, I'm going to take the optimistic approach that the talent influx continues to grow in that, think about what they were doing. They just were not around for the first high school class, right? That was not the class that they signed. It was just Rich by himself for a long time. You didn't have the GM on board. You weren't evaluating portal as you are doing now, where you have almost a year runway in both of those areas. High school guys, for the most part, that will build the program down the road. And then you should have a better handle on the portal, who will be in there. You know, some of that stuff's already floating around. You have an idea of who's going to be available. I would think the talent influx will be there next year and the year to come as they've now settled in from a staff perspective.
Agreed.
That time you shut my microphone off. One of the rare times you've pulled that trick.
The rare ability from over here.
I would say, to answer your question, JD, that West Virginia will not have the most money in the league going to the market. They will be far away from having the least amount. I think they're probably in the top 5 or 6 when you add everything in. And I think that West Virginia will be in a very good position. When you talk to the folks over at football, and I specifically ask them, do you have enough to go get good players? They go, yes, we do. And as Brad said, much better identification of who is out there and who they need, both at the high school level and in the transfer portal. And, Rich did a good job of explaining this during his talk show on Monday night. We spent a pretty good chunk of time. But the reality of it is this. There is daily conversations that are happening right now between agents and the general managers at football programs shopping players. So every school already has its list of this player is going to be available when the portal window opens. What's the deal going to be? That happens every single day. And I know for some folks, they would be aghast by that. Are you kidding me? No, that's what's happening. And so these guys are right now in the midst of doing that like everyone else. And so they have a pretty good idea right now today who's going to be out there, what it's going to take, and now they have to make sure that they don't err when it comes to the evaluation, and that's going to be the key. So they're going to be able to get people. They just need to make sure that they're a fit and that they'll instantly be able to help.
Tony, that's well said. One of the challenges, I think, is going to be that, look, we know West Virginia very well, and we know that they do things right. They're going to follow the rules. But not everybody is. And I think you're still going to have schools that will have, because West Virginia's taken its collective internal, there will be schools that have outside collectives that are still going to exist, even if the school is taking some of that work inside. And that outside collective is going to say, rules, we don't care about no stinking rules. And it's still going to push that NIL envelope. Okay? And that's where I think that other schools could still have an advantage if they push beyond what the rules are, and that's going to happen. That's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be times where someone's going to be, your number is whatever. Let's just say for the heck of it, easy math. Your number is $300,000. Kid really wants to come here. But school X comes in and says, hey, we got $550 here for you. Well, it's going to go $550. That's always going to happen. It's always going to happen. So that's just the reality of it. But even though those things happen, these guys internally feel they'll be able to get good enough players to accomplish what they want to accomplish. 3 guys, Justin in Petersburg. Ren Baker stated that West Virginia did not spend its entire rev share. Is West Virginia able to invest this leftover money without state and federal tax hits, especially if accrued monies go toward more scholarship creation and not toward NIL? Thoughts given the university's tax exemption status? ? Appreciate all you do. Sure, Justin. Thanks for that question. Contact Conley CPA Group. They'd be more than happy to walk through the liability issue and inform you as to how that would go. When you say Mike is his name. Mike over, right, Brad?
Yes,
Mike over,
correct.
Great
Conley,
guy. Yeah, Conley CPA Group. Texter, well, I guess the SEC, this is about the private equities coming into these conferences. I guess the SEC is going to be next with a $3 billion deal. And like pro football did many years ago with the merger of the AFL and the NFL, the Big Ten and the SEC will merge, pick up a few other blue bloods, so all their politicians will outnumber our politicians, so the feds won't step in and the rest of us will be in a pickle. I know our scholarship ads will help, but it's not equivalent to a share of billions. And didn't universities develop these teams and brand? So where is their share? Where's our commissioner? It'll be interesting to see if this Big Ten deal does come to fruition with the private equity opportunities. See that a couple of the schools, Michigan and USC, are both going like, not really interested in this, no thank you. So that will be the next frontier.
Why would Ohio State go for this?
I don't know. John Wilner out on the West Coast who writes for he made some really good points like, hey, man, once you give away 10% of your conference, you'll never get that back.
No, you will not.
You'll never get that back. Like, you better think about this twice or 3 times.
Yeah.
I think Purdue's just giddy. How
about Vandy?
Football side of things, not basketball. Basketball's been very good preseason, number 1, but I think Purdue football is just giddy. Just haven't won a thing for a long time and just sitting out there just raining money down, just money just falling down on them.
Yeah.
I mean, they walk in the office, they can't open the door because there's a big pile of money. Haven't won since 98. All due respect, of course, to the Boilermakers.
All due respect.
How about this next series of pictures? Only 2 days. Took 2 days of smoking.
Minnesota, just out there, just shoveling snow and money around. I ain't getting all this money. What did Minnesota give you?
They're
rowing the boat, man.
part of the plan.
Only took 2 days of smoking and cooking to get to the goal of a brisket on a biscuit. Worth it. Still not as good as Rev Cap. Look at that brisket.
Oh, my.
You talk about a
Got
perfect
some char there.
Yeah.
And then that became this.
Oh.
And then that became this. Look at that connection.
Nice connection, 304 there.
So he went biscuit, egg.
Love it.
Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah.
Any horseradish with that?
I would think on the side there's probably some horseradish around
Is
there.
that a homemade biscuit there?
Yeah, it could be.
Looks good.
Yeah,
You did a good
could
job
be.
getting that connection 304 in there.
Yeah.
Nice.
Our friends over at Parker's River
Nice
Brewing
placement.
Company. Available at many GoMarts around the state.
And
Please drink
also
responsibly.
at the party store in
Yeah, they
out
carry it.
in the Suncrest.
Oh, yeah. Were
Yeah,
you
they-
over there?
I was over there.
What are you doing over in that area?
I bought Connection 304.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Got a couple cans in the fridge right as we speak.
Texter, last week the Big 12 women's basketball poll came out. I'm guessing the men's will be out this week. Where do you think they will be picked? I hope it is not last.
Won't be last.
No.
Won't be last. It'll be,
10, 11.
you think it'll be that high?
Mm-hmm.
So the athletics preseason had West Virginia at 10, which is pretty darn good when there's 16 teams and you're starting from scratch.
Yeah.
That the writer that did that understands basketball really well.
Yes,
We've
he
had him
does.
on Sportsline before. He's good. He
He's
gets
good.
it. That's why West Virginia's 10.
So I think that, yeah, you're not going to be in the basement. You're not going to be in the upper 8. You're going to be, probably like Brett, anywhere 10, 11, 12, 13, somewhere. I mean, in that section, which is fine.
Fine, doesn't matter.
Last show I talked about
Coach him up.
the football player, the punter. I think he was at Cincinnati that had the really short shorts. And this person says, hey, for Tony's search for the shortest pants in college football, look at this cat from the University of Florida.
Wow.
He basically had basketball shorts on.
And look at those shorter. I mean, how long before it's just like a guy in a T-shirt out there?
Well, just a onesie, maybe like a onesie.
Those are no knee pads in that outfit. It's also interesting. How about how slimmed down are shoulder pads from the old days?
Oh, my gosh.
Remember those big ones?
Oh, you couldn't
big
even
old
see.
neck roll, big shoulder pads out
Yeah, 100%. Texter says, it looks like with the firing of James Franklin that we can expect Andy Kotelnicki's mention index to make a return. Yeah.
It's been on hiatus for a while.
Is this when I should strip my Penn State stuff? We want to wait.
Oh, I think it's a dandy time.
So Franklin's firing, the first thing you saw was the buyout, right? $48 to $50 million.
Right.
Everybody's going, oh my gosh, $48 to $50 million. And that, so I have two takes on this. One is that is nuts. That's the full amount of his contract until the extent of the contract, which is through 2031. And I did some math on that. And by the way, Penn State has got some financial issues. It comes at a time when Penn State is closing 7 of its satellite campuses after the spring 2027 semester due to declining enrollment and financial pressures. And the average annual cost for an undergraduate Penn State student about $30,000. That's tuition, fees, housing, and food. The average undergraduate leaves Penn State with a degree and a debt of about $40,000. So I know it's apples and oranges, but still, it seems like bad optics. However, when you take a closer look at his contract, Brad, I think it's fascinating, and other schools should take note. Because, and you know this, right? You know the story here?
Well, I know what you're going to say, because this is why you
offset.
Yeah,
the offset.
Most schools do that now. This isn't unique to Penn State.
Yeah. West Virginia had an offset.
Yeah, that's standard in the industry.
Well, the offset, because all the stories have been just about the $48 million or the $50 million. And then front office sports got a hold of contract, and they saw the offset so that if he gets another job, and by the way, he has to look for another job. He can't not look for another job, so that there's a mitigation clause. So he has to look for another job. What?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, Hoppy, he's got to look for another job. Yep.
Well, he does.
He's going to be over at the unemployment office.
So he has to look for another job. So whatever he gets, then that offsets, whatever he's paid, offsets what Penn State owes him, which, as you said, Brad, if it's standard down in the industry, and West Virginia had some of that too, Texas A&M did not, I don't believe.
Right.
So they had to pay Jimbo $76 million. But certainly every school now, I mean, as athletic departments figure out that they don't want to be, bum rushed, that they got to have that clause, that mitigating clause.
Yeah, I don't know who wouldn't have that clause at this point. You mentioned Texas A&M. I don't know how you overlook that. That is standard. And I think that's the interesting part of that is that that's a wild, quick trigger there from a program that's won a lot of games and was a few plays from a national championship. And the replacement will be fascinating. You go to market there. I'll be fascinated to see who they end up with, because that's a high floor that he at least set. And I get all the numbers that people want to throw out. I understand that, but that's also if you're any other school with a job opening. That's why if you're Penn State, you probably had some more comfort in pulling that trigger than in a normal situation. James Franklin is infinitely marketable to another school if he wants to coach next season. Now he could go take a broadcasting job at a lot less than that, but if he wants to be a head coach at a power program next year, I would think they're going to be lining up to get. I mean, if Virginia Tech could get James Franklin, you do that deal yesterday. If Oklahoma State could get James Franklin, I would have done that job yesterday. If Florida opens, I would talk to James Franklin. That guy's won a lot of games there. So I would think if you're Penn State, as ridiculous as $50 million is to not come to work, you have some comfort there that he's going to land a pretty high-paying big college job next. Maybe more so than a lot of other coaches that are in that same situation.
He's not a guy that has to take the UAB job. All due respect to UAB. Okay, you're right. There are how many big jobs are going to be open? I mean, a ton.
There's already some major jobs
and
open.
There's going to be others.
Yeah.
Wisconsin's probably going to be open. Florida may be open. Florida State may be open, right? I mean, so there's going to be jobs. And I was really appalled by that $48 million buyout until I read the contract language about the mitigation clause.
Sure. Yeah.
Did you know that? Did you know?
It's standard now.
Well, I guess I'm behind the curve on that. I didn't.
Well, now that you're semi-retired, you can go over to law school. They'll teach you a few things over there, how these offsets work.
All right.
You know what else I think? Internally, over a decade, there had to be people that James Franklin had upset in the highest levels of otherwise you don't blow this guy up like that. He had pissed off enough people where they used those numbers of not winning these big games, and that's enough. If he had built up a tremendous, goodwill within, I don't think they blow him up like that. I just don't.
Trigger, given where you were. You've also been there 12 seasons. So it's what we always say. You start to mount the number of seasons, and the flaws become the talked about point. Matt Rule's the obvious candidate that everybody's writing about and putting on their list. I get it. Played for Joe Paterno. He and the AD were at Temple together like each other. I get why Matt Rule's on there. What'd you just say about James Franklin and the numbers? It was the wins over top 10 teams everybody lost their mind about? Matt Rule's done a fantastic job at multiple places. He's 2-23 lifetime against ranked teams.
Boom.
Yeah. I mean, not that I need to tell Penn State who to hire or what to look at, but you're going to run James Franklin for a number that's similar, and Matt Rule's in a position to be 2-23 against ranked teams.
Yeah.
Just a side note. But I'll be interested to watch where they start to go for this search, because it's a small group of people that you can go to and be fairly certain that it will be better than what you had. Isn't that always the crux of these decisions?
It is, and also it has to be, whether it's said or implied, it's like, okay, Brad, we're going to hire you. By the way, you have to win a national championship.
Which is their expectation. I get that that's Penn State's expectation. That's also really hard.
I was going to say. I mean, you could, that's
I think it's more, to me, it's more about the challenge and the decision becomes, where do you go? We've said this a lot. It's easy to fire. It's hard to hire. So that's why I can't wait to see where they land. Who do they go to that you have a higher certainty that you're in a better spot to win a national championship?
Because Franklin, you look at coach hires, and we've seen coach hires, and you say, wow, that looked good at the time, but it turned out to be a mistake. Didn't work, right? Franklin was not a mistake. It worked. I mean, it worked out except for winning a national championship. You could easily make a mistake and be worse.
Yeah,
you have a bigger chance of making a mistake than you do of hitting the right guy.
Now, they would tell you some of the things we just talked about there. Likely had frayed some relationships over 12 years. That's a long time. That's a lifetime in coaching circles now, where you get tired of what you have. I think it's going to be really interesting moving forward where they land.
Longtime texter Dave texts in.
Just live while we're talking about this?
Kind of, sort of, relatively short. He says, I got too much time to think. Penn State loses to Oregon. Realignment has them traveling across the country to UCLA the very next week. Never ready to play. Red eye back. Lose to Northwestern. Oregon game beats them 3 times. Costs, when all said and done, $100 million. That would have never happened if we are geographically aligned, and $100 million would not be wasted. Between travel cost, kids' time, buyouts, assistants, new staff, frickin' waste of money. Same week, West Virginia flies to BYU. University of Washington plays at Maryland. Utter nonsense.
It's hard.
I mean,
we're making some good points there.
We're starting to see the reality of these stupid expansions that took place in the Big Ten that caused all this West Coast, East Coast. We're in the same league. It's just now you're just looking at it going like, you know what? This is just freaking stupid.
To the point where, for West Virginia, for West Virginia go, oh, good, you're going to Florida.
Exactly. We're excited to go to Florida.
Which used to be the longest road trip.
Oh, texter.
Used to be, got to go get a bigger plane going to Miami. Longer trip.
Exactly.
Got to go to Pittsburgh for this one. Longer trip.
Texter says, we are back from the Jack Daniels World Invitational Barbecue Competition, and I'd say that West Virginia was well represented. Both teams from the state of West Virginia, ourselves, and Poor Boys Barbecue from Oceana were able to make the walk to the big stage. Dog Bite Barbecue finished second in brisket with a perfect score of 180. We were able to get 50th place out of 90 of the best barbecue cooks in the world. Take a look at some of these pictures. Look at that brisket, boys. I mean, Are you kidding me? That looks so beautiful.
Nicely presented,
and
too.
moist. Yeah, they got that green underneath
Yeah,
it.
it's
It does a
nice.
nice little thing.
Contrast.
Cuts off that.
Yeah.
And there he is, getting that stuff ready. And go ahead, Jake. Just flash him through. So he had the whole barbecue thing going there. And then they had a big old event inside that barn. You know, Jack Daniels people, they got to have a nice barn all lit up. And there he is. And there she is. And they barbecued together. And they had a great showing for the state of West Virginia at the Jack Daniels World Invitational.
Thanks for representing.
3 guys, I've got a West Virginia connection story and a comment on haggis. My wife and I took 3 weeks to celebrate my 60th in Scotland. Flew into Heathrow. And then when we were getting our rental car, another couple came in to do the same thing. When they were asked where they're from, they said Pittsburgh. Being who I am, I said, let's go. They both turned and said, Mountaineers. I was, as the British would say, gobsmacked. I didn't get to speak with them, but we gave each other a wave and a smile as we were leaving. I promised myself I would try haggis, so I could say that I did. The first meal we ate in Scotland, we ordered haggis. Delicious. I ordered it with every meal where it was offered. I even had it with my traditional Scottish breakfast a couple of times. Thank you for all that you do for the state and the university. Signed by Gary and Scott Depot. Wow. How about that?
An aged scotch might help that go down, too.
Hoppy, next texter says, I cannot stand this year 0. Have patience. It'll take time. Narratives anymore. Signetti and Iowa have proven that 1 year is plenty of time and other talk is a loser mentality. We're 10 years removed from relevancy in a moment when relevancy is the key to the future of programs.
No, I still stand by the year 0 for a reason stated.
I would tell the texter that, what Kurt Signetti is doing at Indiana is absolutely the exception rather than the rule. If you take a look at first-year coaches in any of the Power 4 conferences, that is not normal. What he's doing is unbelievable, but that is not the norm. That would be the exception.
And props to him and to Indiana. Indiana goes to Oregon, beats Oregon at Oregon.
Lined up.
That's impressive.
Did you guys think the coach salary bubble is speeding toward bursting? I'm listening to some Florida State media shows and podcasts. They've brought up the idea of hiring small and making it a player first model. Also the idea of a GM being the face of the program. Poor buddies are scrambling, and they haven't even fired Mike Norvell. These $50 million buyouts and long contracts don't seem tenable with revenue share and all the other new expenses. Signed by Dave and Kaiser. P.S. I highly recommend listening to the Blue Blood Schools podcast when there's major turmoil happening. But maybe I'm just being a petty hater.
What do
I always say? Nobody's reaching down with a hand to help you up. So if Florida State's struggling, best of luck. Penn State's in turmoil, best of luck. North Carolina can't find its way out of the paper bag, so be it. Best of luck, guys. You're on your own.
Brad, you've brought me on board that ship. I would also say that the nature of West Virginians is when those schools are suffering, we feel better about ourselves.
That's normal. Yeah, I think
is that a normal reaction?
Yeah, I think so.
But you're right. I don't feel bad for.
Yeah. 3 guys before the game is brought to us in part by our good friends at GoMart. Brad's been working all season long to try to figure out how he can load up on his gas on Saturdays.
Did it. Just got it in the Saturday.
You did it on Saturday.
Rotation lined up nicely.
Triple reward
just
points.
Giddy. I'm filling that thing up. I almost took a picture for you two and sent it to you. I was just giddy.
Mm-hmm.
Finally lined up instead of hitting it Sunday, Monday, Friday.
And you got triple rewards.
Just triple, just racking up points as I'm
Did you have Laura drive her car up also behind you? And
did not. Just went with mine.
Speaking of that,
just went with mine.
So 2 things.
Good idea, though. Should have done that.
Speaking of having someone else come in, what happened to Charlie from Midlothian? Where's he been?
I don't know.
Hope he's okay.
Maybe he got in trouble from all those scams.
He could be behind bars. Don't forget that GoMarts are offering the triple rewards points every Saturday. So stop by GoMart. Make sure you have that app or the card if you want to go analog old school. And you get triple rewards points for everything that you get, food and fuel. You can't beat the deal. Check it out at GoMart. All right, so we're back in here Sunday morning to do our post game.
Yeah.
Hoppy, you feeling good about this opportunity?
Well, I like again, I defer to Brad on the stats, Tony and you on the stats. You have a lot more experience than I do, and Brad does a lot more research. I just like it situationally. And I spent the off week getting somewhat optimistic about possibilities. And so I'm going in with a level of optimism. And I don't think I'm being have rose-colored glasses here. I think there's an opportunity.
Yeah, better situation than you've had the last few weeks. Go see what those young quarterbacks can do. Drive you a little bit. Can you run against this UCF defense? That's first and foremost what I'm watching. Go get you one.
So by the time we come back on, not only will the football squad have played Game 7, but also the newly born Mountaineer men's basketball team will play its quadruple secret scrimmage. They bring everyone in with a bag over their head,
including the players, and
don't even let them know where they are. And then they take the bags off and they say, okay, now play basketball. So I wonder, like, it's West Virginia, Maryland. Like, who squeaks? Who squeals? Like, there's going to be leaks.
Oh, yeah.
Like, which way do you think it goes? Huh? What do you think happens? Because creative, they're going to put highlights out. They'll
be very crafty about how they do it, though.
Right.
You'll see like a shoulder here, face there, a dunk here.
Yeah. West Virginia women are getting ready to scrimmage Virginia Tech in their secret scrimmage. I talked to Mark Kellogg yesterday, and last year, I don't know if you remember this, they went to like Ashland, Ohio to play Michigan. Michigan shows up, and they go, we only have like 10 players, and they didn't even want to go two halves. And he went like,
why are we here?
What are we doing? What are we doing? So they're going to play Tech this year instead. So he'll get an idea of what's going on.
Hey, by the way, West Virginia men's and women's other football teams, soccer, rolling along.
Doing great.
Dan Strafford, number 3 in the nation, beat American.
Beat them.
On Tuesday, 2-0. They continue to roll. Yeah, it's everything's shaping. Nikki and her ladies continue to play well.
Top 5 RPI for them.
Yeah, going well.
It is.
It's going really well. All right, let's get a football W, and let's matriculate the ball down the field. I just want to see first downs.
First downs would be good.
I want to feel the rhythm.
It'd be nice.
Feel the rhythm.
You know what you're hoping for. You know what you're looking for.
First downs and a couple explosives. Give me some explosives, though, in this.
Yeah.
What was that Supreme Court justice when asked about pornography? He said, I know it when I see it.
Justice Potter.
Okay, so what we want a football version. Like, we'll know it. We'll know what this offense, when it's working, when we see it.
I think it's Justice Potter. I probably don't have time to double check.
Same thing. Potter, whatever. We're out. Special thanks to producer Jake for putting it together. If you never, ever, ever, ever want to miss an episode, then subscribe. We'd love to have you on a subscription. This doesn't cost you anything.
Free to subscribe.
0. 3 Guys have been brought to us by GoMart. Get yourself a GoMart rewards card and instantly begin saving on food and fuel. By Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. They sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com.
Justice Potter Stewart. Potter Stewart. I had Potter right. Justice Potter Stewart.
Very good. 3 Guys brought to us by Tudor's Biscuit World. Start your day the homemade way with a Tudor's Biscuit. By Comax Business Systems, keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years. By Jan Dill's Attorneys at Law. They won't take no for an answer. And by Conley CPA Group.
What are you chortling about over there?
Look at my mouse.
What?
I'm trying to read these billboards. It won't. It just keeps going back and forth. And by the Conley CPA Group. You know what their new tagline is?
What?
They're really, really good at numbers. They provide value beyond the numbers. All right, we're out. Be good. See you.